Hello and welcome. I'm Joey Walters for the Waterbearers.org, which is a really inspirational, fantastically global collaborative movement bringing many women together to support getting clean water to 1 million people by World Water Day, which is March the 22nd. And this extraordinary goal is possible because 100 women team leaders are stepping forward to support the campaign by really inspiring many other women who have access to clean water to bring it to those who don't. And I am absolutely thrilled and delighted and honoured to be here today with one of those team leaders who has stepped up, Jennifer Huff. Welcome, Jennifer.
Happy to be here, Joey. Very happy to be here, in fact.
Yay, great to be with you. And you're over in Canada right now, yeah?
I am just north of Toronto by about an hour, and we are surrounded by some beautiful snow right now.
Yay, lovely. Well, I'm in freezing Scotland, so I'm kind of with you. So great to have you with us. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for stepping forward as a Water Bearer team leader. It's just great to have your energy and your enthusiasm and your community on board here. And I would love to invite you just to share a little bit about what's really inspired you to step forward as a team leader and
Sure.
Connect with the work that you're bringing forward in the world, Jennifer.
Sure. Well, the interesting thing is the first inspiration was actually in meeting Sprite, and just feeling her incredible passion and knowingness that huge differences can be made by just normal people. We can all do this. And so I felt that sisterhood. I mean, I just have that knowing that it's not the special people that do it. It's us. We do it. That's who's meant to do. And I know that, the more people I meet around the world, I don't know if you've seen this, Joey, but I felt this feeling like there's this sense of urgency that people are getting present to. They're starting to understand that there's this calling inside, and they want to pour all their resources or energy, or they want to take some action. They want to do something that makes a big difference. And so for me, this really is such a simple and fulfilling way to do something that is so profound. And the other thing for me is, as a former nutritionist, most of our body is made of water. It's such an essential part of this physicality. 2/3 of it is water. So, when we don't have water, and the other thing is, I'm sure a lot of people have watched Dr. Emoto or people that talk about the sacred geometry and all the things that happen in water. Imagine if this water is given from such love and such passion, and from people who truly care and want to make a difference and are coming from their heart, that it's actually going to affect the water that the people are drinking. So it's not just the water they're getting, it's all of the love and the care that we're offering and giving it, and the passion. So now not only are you changing their lives by just hydrating, it's such a 3D thing, but you're also changing their lives because the way it's being given is actually affecting their beingness. They will, we'll have a little love exchange. So yeah. I think that's so powerful for me. And the last reason, there is another reason. We take people to go on spiritual adventures. In fact, we're going again in May with the whales and the dolphins, and it's the one distribution channel of information that touches every piece of land on Earth, and every piece of water, every molecule of water has been somewhere else on Earth as well. It's, it goes up into the sky and it rains down on us. And for me, it's a community aspect of this planet. It's something that is communal to all of us. It brings us together. It's, the water that someone drank over in Africa somewhere is I'm going to eventually experience that water over here in Canada. And so I think the more that we're able to use water instead of as something that maybe is restricted and there's not enough and all that, if that abundance is the energy that we're coming from, if that we can do this is the energy we're coming from, even the water we give to someone else who may be not having the greatest situation, where the wells are either dried up or very, very ill, all of a sudden it comes back to us anyways. It's not just assisting those people, it's assisting everyone. So I'm a big fan of this project. Big fan.
I can tell, and I just love the image that you've brought, you know, of water, just the water really filtering everywhere, and also, you know, the love of this campaign, you know, the energy in this campaign of spreading that love and that energy of wisdom and love flowing out, coming through those water filters is not just clean water, it's magical water. That's just really gorgeous. Thank you for sharing that, because it's a beautiful, it's a really beautiful and it's not a concept, a reality. Thank you for sharing that. I can
you're so welcome. I mean, I can see it, and I get goosebumps at the thought. I can just feel I just know that. So, you know, it's when something feels expansive to my heart, I know it's a yes. And I know that other people will feel that too. Even as we're talking right now, I'm sure other people are getting goosebumps too. So this project to me is much more than assisting people to have water. And that in and of itself is a miracle. And just kudos to Sprite for her vision. Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a deeply inspired campaign, and I think we've all felt that. You know, we've all felt that and stepped in, because it's just been so embracing of our own sense of what feels right and simple and collaborative and deeply what we're called to support. So that's lovely. You know, I'm really clear that what you're sharing is coming from a real depth of wisdom in your own experience, in your life, and in your journey through various evolutions of your work and what you're bringing forward through the wide awakening work that you're doing. And I wonder if there's something in particular that you would like to share as a nugget of your own wisdom from your own journey with everybody today.
Well, I think there's two things, and I'm thinking of my own journey. One of the aspects of my journey is that I was working with street youth, and I was meant to walk a girl to this is 20 some years ago. I was walking a young girl to the psych ward, who was 15 years old and probably weighed as much as my leg, and just a little tiny thing. And she called herself Angel, and she was meant to be schizophrenic. That's what the intake people said. And this was my first thing to do as a weekend part-time worker. I didn't have a social work degree, but they hired me because I suppose there was something about me. And you're not supposed to touch them or anything like that. And I remember walking her to the psych ward and leaving her off. But in the time between intake and the psych ward, she told me her entire life story, where it was pretty horrible, horrific, what her brothers and her father and all this kind of stuff. This is not about men and women, but it was pretty bad. And me, from a middle-class family, you know, I thought this was the movies. So it really affected me. When I left her off, I went down on my knees and I was just crying convulsively in the middle of Toronto. And I stood up, and like many of the people that are probably listening, I have felt this, like, what can I do? Because I thought, well, one, I could take her home, but then I'll get fired and I won't be able to help anybody else. And then I'll have to take everybody home, you know, in Africa and India, you know, I have to take everybody. The next thing was, well, I could stop feeling because this is so painful. I could just shut off my feelings and not feel at all. And then I just could feel that same sense of urgency that somehow I'm meant to do something to be the change. I just don't know what. So this is long before I ever did this for a living. And I felt this calling and I thought, where is this? What is this? What is the, it's like a voice, but it's not a voice I can hear. And I just looked up and I went, what? Like, what are you trying to say? And when I heard, but it wasn't really hearing what I felt, but in language, in a block of thought, like I live right now. That's how I commune with everything, and just not in words that you hear. And the funny thing is that it said, you know, we all have the capacity, and I got that I had the capacity to, how shall I say, that it wasn't about taking everybody home and doing it myself and being a martyr. It wasn't about turning off my feelings over here. It was actually about a decision that I made that as long as I'm alive, nobody on my shift will need to suffer. And no matter what happens in the world, like that girl Angel, I'm just going to use all of that instead of to depress me or disempower me. It's going to catalyze me. The more I see, the more catalyzed I'm going to become. So instead of, you know, having it so there's lots of things, having me step away from the world, it just made me step in more. And I started to be shown all the ways that I can make a difference. And for some people, they're looking at this right now and they're going, yeah, okay, good. But, you know, so I've spent the rest of my life and I'm doing that, and not in a martyrous way, in a way that if it's possible for me, it's possible for everyone. And we do get shown. We don't have to know. So the second part is, we don't have to know how, Joey. That's the part. You don't have to know how. You just have to decide to be a yes and do what's right in front of you. Not intend, not envision. All of those things are good. That's fabulous. We should do that. But it's actually in the doing of it that we actually move. The universe is not looking for, the universe responds most to action. It responds the most because it's a hardcore 3D. It's like the final vestige of being human. There's all the multidimensional intending prayer, all good. But if you actually skipped all of that and you just acted, it actually causes more to happen in the real world than anything else. So for me, it's a bit like my business, and I'm sure as an entrepreneur you can relate, Joey, as an entrepreneur, but even just as a human being who has a passion, it's about I'm a lot fire ready aim. It's like, okay, well, that's presenting to do, so I'm going to start doing it. And you kind of discover how you're supposed to do it in the best possible way just by starting doing it rather than trying to get it right first. So it's been an amazing thing to undo the perfectionism of my youth, you know, the straight A student, all that crazy stuff. And when you don't need to know, you just throw out the window the perfectionism, because perfectionism is way overrated. We got stuff to do on the planet. So that is what probably feels like it should be shared. It's like we got stuff to do. We're all imperfect and we're all fumbling about. And it doesn't matter if I go around the world and we have a great big business and all that kind of stuff. The whole business came to be because we were fumbling about, leaning into what was presenting rather than trying to get it right. So it's a great way to get humbled. But it's also a great way to pass it on, because how could I teach this stuff if I haven't lived it myself, right? So,
totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Beautiful. So beautifully said. I couldn't agree more, you know, with this piece around really needing to step into action and then let it unfold. Then the journey begins. And that's where our healing begins too. And I just love the beautiful story, because I think it's just so perfectly demonstrates, you know, how when we meet the change that's needed, and we really see, and we're willing to feel, and we're willing to see, that's where, if we can hold that and meet that, that's where we really get called forward.
And it's real. Can I share something, Joey?
Yeah.
I so want to. The full circle of that story is crazy, because I've shared that story a few times, and every time I've shared the story, either being interviewed on a radio show or, at a conference or something, at least 2 or 3 people will come up to me afterwards, and the audience will ask what happened to Angel. And she somehow went through the system. But what's interesting, and this is for everybody to know, it's, if you think the action doesn't make a difference, if you think the action doesn't make a difference, you just listen to what happened. At least 10 people have come up to me at this point and said, Jennifer, I may not be Angel, but I want you to know that somebody did exactly what you did. Like, listen and be there and hold my hand, even though I could have gotten fired for that when I was on the streets. And it made I remember that person the rest of my life. That's what got me through. So even though I never got to talk to Angel, I actually got to talk to Angel. So just remember, it may not, your saying yes may not affect the people that you wish it would, but it's going to affect someone. So just that heart's calling is so important.
Gorgeous. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for your beautiful wisdom and beautiful stories, and for bringing your love and your energy and your brightness to this incredible campaign. Thank you.
It's a privilege.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joey.
And
thank you so much, all of you.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody. And really just wanting to reiterate and to invite you to step in if you feel called to support this campaign. As Jennifer was saying, it's really just about taking action, and this campaign is not possible without so many of us just coming together and saying, yeah, we can do it. And so if you feel called to donate, please do. You can join us and support the campaign in many different ways at thewaterbearers.org, and you can support as a team leader. If you want to step up to be a team leader, you can join a team and support a team, or you can simply donate. And really a very small amount goes a long way, because $50 goes towards providing a water filter for 100 people for a considerable amount of time. And so this is just such a fabulous way to just step into something that has real heart and real integrity, and help change the world with us. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Jennifer. Much love.
Thank you, Joe.
Bye for now.